Seattle was incredibly aggressive, though, this offseason. The Seahawks just signed Cooper Kupp on Friday. 3-year, $45 million deal. But we need to address this, Sean. Signing Cooper Kupp and bringing in Sam Darnold does not mean that this offense is completely fixed. Their offensive line badly needs to be addressed. They need somebody better than Valdez-Scantling as the third receiver in this room. They need to draft somebody. I will pause on giving any judgment on how Seattle's going to do this year until after I see how they draft. Because if they don't approach this aggressively by going after multiple early offensive linemen and mostly focusing on building their offense, I'm going to be a little cool on them because they right now still have some holes that need to be shored up.
Some would say I've been somewhat critical of Seattle when discussing another roster move they've made this offseason, but the Cooper Kupp addition alleviates a lot of that stress that I'd been putting on the franchise as they have a true number 2 option to go outside of JSN. Cooper Kupp is... did you see Gresh running down Cooper Kupp, by the way? I was shocked that he's not a big fan. Maybe he thought he was in the New England was in the sweepstakes for him.
Oh, so he's pissed about...
that was like a bit of a shocking... He was taking a shocking...
Our former boss, Andy Gresh, who's a longtime awesome on-air host. Wait, he was saying that Kupp sucks?
Yeah, he started acting like, the best wide receiver in the league, like he was being a little over the top with it.
Okay, so he's 31 and...
He's a triple crown winner.
He's played 33 games in the last 3 years. So the concern is there. It's not for how good he is. It's the age and the lack of availability. There's not many receivers over the age of 31 that end up having great careers, finishing careers.
Do I think that Cooper Kupp is going to play every single game for the Seattle Seahawks this year? No. Do I think he wins them 2 to 3 games alone by him being on the field? Yes, I do. And that helps Seattle immensely. It really does. Having a veteran receiver to go and help out Darnold, who, if they're going to try to replicate the system that he had in Minnesota, not even the system, but the environment that he had in Minnesota, load him up with some stars, load him up with some absolute savvy wideouts. Cooper Kupp is that. He's not going to stretch the field. He's never been accused of stretching the field, but what he does do is he creates space, he catches the ball, he converts third downs into first downs. It helps tremendously. And if you want to have JSN be your vertical guy or sign some speedster, go do that and have some balance on the outside. 2, mid-route elite guys like Kupp and JSN together is good, but they need to keep on diversifying that offense. So they could be, we're looking at maybe close to a 50-50 run-pass split, I think, with them this year, which would help immensely.
Well, but they got to fix their offensive line before they can run the ball more. And that was they couldn't run the ball as effectively as they'd been able to in the past. They've got the dudes to do it with Charbonnet and Walker. It's just, you don't really have that interior O-line presence. It's Charles Cross, and that's it.
Yeah, they got to grind that up. They really need that help because Sam Darnold is not going to be Sam Darnold of last year if he is on his back the whole season. It's just not going to work for him. It wouldn't work for any other quarterback. There's 3 guys that can analyze pressure in the league so quickly, or they're so athletically gifted at quarterback where they can make up for poor offensive line play. Darnold is not that guy. So shore up the offensive line, and now you have a threat that could get you a realistic and reasonable 10 touchdowns this year in Cooper Kupp.
I think, that there's the play style that Cooper Kupp has as he starts to get older. I don't think it's going to be super impacted by his age because he's a great route runner. He's a possession guy. If he slows down a little bit, he's somebody who I think for these remaining 3 years could still find production. I hope that the Seahawks don't have this expectation, though, that he goes on to be their number 1 target. I think that everybody understands this is not the same guy who won the Triple Crown a couple of years ago because he is, again, towards the end of his career. He's over 31 years old. It's just a quality veteran addition to a room that needed a name. It needed a quality guy. I had said this, though, and we said this on the show, that the minute that they traded Geno, we were questioning what the hell is the plan. The plan actually seems pretty good right now. It's not great. This isn't one that completely gets you where you're trying to get to, which is winning the division. That's the first step. It doesn't get you all the way there because, again, they still need better offensive line play. They still need another option. Sam Teets pointed out that they have, in the top 100, they've picked 18, 50, 52, 82, and 92. So there's plenty of opportunities within those first 5 picks to draft 2 offensive linemen, a receiver, and then address anything else on defense that they want to go over. If they don't meet that minimum that I just set there, 2 offensive linemen and 1 receiver, I'm going to be very sorely disappointed with 5 picks. We're talking about 5.
This addition, though, I think it pushes them past San Francisco, and I think it gets them closer to the LA Rams. They're right now they're split at best with the Rams this season, but they're playing ball. They're light years ahead of Arizona. San Francisco, I think, is going to be down this year, so it's going to be a 2-team race for the NFC West this year. I think you get 2 coming out of the East, 1 or 2 coming out of probably 1 coming out of the South, 2 coming out from the North, and then you're in business. Seattle could make the playoffs this year the way it's shaping up pre-draft, and this addition definitely helps them. They're not going to be. They shouldn't be in the meat of the pack on the bubble fringe in December. Like they should have some destiny in their own control. And I think that's all you should expect and want for this team in a weird nebula rebuild season that they have.
And especially like you look at the other performances from these other teams, the Cardinals have just been a mess, and the 49ers are probably not going to return to dominance anytime soon.
I think McCaffrey's done. I think he's done.
Yeah, but I saw some people saying that they should trade him, and I kind of agree. His health is really called into question. He's not as available as he once was. I think that they totally should trade him.
It feels like the Gurley stuff, which is an awful injury situation to have. I haven't heard any news of it. Looks like it's better. It doesn't seem like it's going to be some permanent issue with his legs. Haven't seen that, so right now is the highest his market's going to be until we get some news like that come down the barrel.